They're sparkly and they're pretty and they come from the ground.
I have a really difficult time believing it when people say that crystals can heal or crystals have different powers.
Hi, I'm Crystal, and today we're gonna be investigating crystals. Not me, Crystal, but like crystals, you know? So I live in Los Angeles, which means that there is no shortage of people who are obsessed with crystals, like my friend Hannah.
Hi, I'm Hannah and I love crystals and I want to show you a couple of my absolute favorites. These are my amethyst towers, fluorite, serpentine, quartz, geode. Then I have this little stash here that's all of our birthstones.
That's garnet.
That's aquamarine. This is rutilated quartz. Mama, beautiful. And then this is malachite. What does this remind you of, huh? I had to buy it. Citrine. Yep, I love crystals.
So according to the internet, the use of crystals in healing practices dates back around 6,000 years to ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia. It's claimed that crystals can do things like stimulate the immune system, help with memory and focus, protect you from negative energy. Supposedly it can even do things like promote healthy sleep, aid in digestion, and alleviate fear and self-doubt. Basically, there's a really long list of things that crystals can supposedly do. But I wanted to know the truth. Do they actually offer legitimate health benefits, or are they just another wacky wellness trend? So to figure it out, I decided to do a couple of things. First, I wanted to visit a crystal shop and speak to a crystals expert.
I grew up around crystals. Like, it blows my mind that you can take a crystal and that just came right out of the earth. Like the earth's treasures.
Treasures.
Yeah. Do you remember a kid and like loving rocks and like collecting rocks?
I told you, I failed geography.
Geology.
I failed both of them. But so like you don't actually believe that they have magical powers?
I don't think they're magical, but I think you can't deny that they have energy because we use quartz to power so many things. I don't rely on them for healing, or like if I'm sick, I'm not like, let me just put a crystal on my face. You know, I was gonna say, oh God, it's the crystals. They hear us. If I see a crystal and it's one that I can't stop thinking about, then I feel like there's some reason in my life that I probably need it.
I feel like that's a really good way to justify a shopping addiction.
Well, this is what I tell my husband. I'm not gambling, okay? At least like if I needed to sell them, I could sell them. And the best part about crystals, if you ever buy one, nobody else will have that crystal. It's the only one. I am so ready to go in here. Oh my goodness.
Hey,
welcome to Crystalarium.
Hi, Crystal.
Hi,
nice to meet you.
Hannah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Welcome.
How did you get into crystals?
There was one day that I was standing in front of a quartz cluster that was floor to ceiling, so it was literally $1 million. And my knees started to vibrate. And I was so like bitter and jaded, and I was like, crystals don't do anything. And then I had this genuine physical reaction, and that's when I started to actually understand the healing powers of crystals.
I have to be honest, I'm a natural born critic. I have a really difficult time believing it when people say that crystals can heal or crystals have energy or they have different powers. But at the same time, I also don't believe everyone is just delusional.
Hannah's not crazy.
I love Hannah and I know she's not.
Don't use me as the example.
Nothing that we sell, nothing that we talk about should be in lieu of medical advice. If you have a medical condition, then seek a doctor. Like, that's why doctors exist. If we're talking about something metaphysical, that's why crystals exist. So you had mentioned skepticism about crystals having energy. That's science. So that is why crystals were used in radios, in watches. Crystals have something called piezoelectricity, which means that they hold a charge.
So there is science that proves that everything around us right now can hold a charge.
It's like Wi-Fi. We can't see Wi-Fi. We know it exists, and we're affected by it in ways that we don't always know, and it's really important for us to be aware of what's affecting us on a daily basis, because the unseen exists. And so being around the crystals, it helps you remember to tune in to what's around you at all times.
When we do talk about specifically crystal healing, people aren't saying, I broke my leg and I'm going to hold a crystal up to it and it's going to heal my leg. That's not what they're talking about.
Right. When it comes to the belief system in healing, if something in you is broken, you want to take certain care to that part, which means that my awareness is going to the part of me that is in pain. This is just a rock until we put our intention in it. It is not that I'm going to put this on my nightstand and hope that it magically works on its own with me not doing any work. If I'm intending to help amplify my intention, that is what people use crystals for. It's about the relationship of us understanding what it is that we want to heal, and this can help amplify the power of our thoughts.
I do believe that there is such like an extreme connection between the mind and the body. What we think and feel really does affect our physical existence.
Like if you talk to your plant in a loving way, if you play your plant beautiful music, it will flourish. Why would we think that a plant is more advanced than we are? Why would we think that a plant has more capability to respond to positive input than what we can? We have all of the tools. We don't need all of this exterior things. It's very, very helpful, but our relationship with ourselves is by far the most important thing, and having something physical next to me as a reminder is a wonderful way to kind of keep that personal accountability of, am I living the life that I'm setting out to live? It's what we put our focus on that has the most power. And so crystals work in perfect alignment in what it is you're choosing to focus on. And nothing in nature is an accident.
After all of this, I still wanted to talk to a medical professional to find out what exactly is going on here and learn more about the power of intention setting.
I've learned and studied about metaphysics and spiritualism over the years, various religions, and I'm aware of the philosophy and idea that crystals possess a tremendous amount of dense energy, and that the energy from crystals are supposed to help release more energy into the universe to create positive changes in one's life.
From everything that you know, is that true?
This is an interesting discussion here. So my ultimate thoughts are that crystals in and of themselves are unlikely to make huge impact on someone's life or psychological functioning or mood. We have to be very careful about not viewing them as superstitious objects. I think that even people who practice the use of crystals in a spiritual manner don't necessarily view the crystal itself as the instrument as change, but rather part of a larger spiritual practice. I think that crystals have more of a place in metaphysics and spiritualism than they do in clinical psychology or scientific evidence.
It's not really anything to do with the crystal itself. It's really just about conscious intention setting.
Exactly.
But I'm curious to know kind of what's going on in our brains when we're focused on intention setting.
A lot of different regions of the brain light up when we're visualizing and using the ability to think about what we're trying to create. And it starts to open up problem-solving centers of our brain that allow us to think about how we might obtain what it is that we're actually visualizing.
So it's like, even though the crystal itself is not directly the cause of something happening, the act of holding that crystal and believing that it will does actually cause a reaction in your brain.
Yes, I think prayer also works in very similar ways, right? The belief or the expectation that your prayers are going to be answered is doing something neurochemically that makes us feel better.
That is so interesting.
Yes. The exact mechanics of how this works and how this impacts our psychology is something we just don't have enough research or data on.
After Hannah and I spoke with Cheryl at the Crystallarium, she was kind enough to gift me this crystal. It's called Lepidolite, and it's supposed to be very calming. She said that she felt like I really needed this in my life right now. and she suggested that I bring it home and use it to set some intentions, place it under my pillow, and see how it works for me. Let's try it and see how it goes. So, I'm sick. I'm really run down. I'm traveling for work right now, so I don't even get to be at home. And I just got dumped after 4 years. So I brought this little guy with me, and I just really need you to heal me. We'll see. We'll see. It just occurred to me that I have been traveling around California carrying a purple rock with me everywhere I go for quite a few days now. I don't know what, if anything, I expect to happen, but I did look up Lepidolite today online, and it said that it is a stone of transition and is meant to bring deep emotional healing. So, if nothing else, clearly I ended up with the right crystal for this particular moment in my life. So I decided to drive out to Palm Springs to visit some friends and family for the weekend and go on a little hike. And I've just been trying to use this time to reflect and really think about what I want. And I don't know if it's the fresh air or the movement or the crystal, but I'm finally starting to feel a little bit better and just feel more myself again. So it's been about 2 weeks, and while I am by no means healed from this life upheaval, I do feel a lot better. And I'm really finally starting to see that everything is gonna be okay. And while I don't necessarily think that it's because of the crystal, feeling it in my pocket every day, I think has been a fantastic reminder to just be mindful and intentional with my thoughts and my decisions and just the way that I'm moving through the world. And that in itself has been a significant game changer. What do you think?
I think there were some really good points made about how there isn't much research, and so I'm kind of right down the middle. I don't know how to feel about it. For me, I just need to see a little more concrete proof either way.
I think what I learned is that it's really more about intention setting, and that it's about focusing your energy on the things that you want in life and working towards that. And that if that's what you're doing, and maybe using a beautiful crystal to help remind you to do that every day, if that makes you happy and that works and you see positive results from that, then I'm all for it, and I think that's pretty cool. If there are any other weird and wacky wellness trends that you want us to investigate and possibly debunk, let us know in the comments below. I feel like that moment about self-love was really special.
That's what I'm gonna tell my husband next time he opposes a purchase. I'm gonna be like, this makes me love myself. Okay, don't you want that?
The more I love myself, the more I can love you.
Exactly.